The Last Oath. It was the year of the Fire Tiger, a time when clan rivalries blazed across the countryside. In a quiet province nestled between dense cedar forests and mist-covered mountains, a samurai named Hiroshi Takeda served his lord, daimyo Kenta. Takeda was a seasoned warrior, known for his precision in battle and an unwavering sense of duty. His sword, a gift from his late father, gleamed like moonlight on still water. Takeda had lived his life by the Bushido code, honor, loyalty, and sacrifice, but that code was about to be tested in ways he never imagined. A fateful mission. One autumn morning, Takeda knelt before Lord Kenta, who sat atop a raised dais. His voice, sharp as a blade, echoed through the hall. "Takeda," the daimyo said, "the time has come. I am sending you to confront Masaki, an old friend who has turned against me. He shelters criminals and refuses to pay tribute. I trust you to act decisively." Takeda bowed deeply. "I will not fail, my lord." Kenta's expression softened slightly. "Spare him if you can. But honor must be upheld." Takeda's heart felt heavy, for Masaki had once trained with him under the same master. They had been brothers in all but blood. Yet Takeda knew what must be done. Without hesitation, he saddled his horse and set out toward the distant province where Masaki's estate lay. Reunion of friends. After 2 days of riding through crimson-leafed forests and narrow mountain paths, Takeda arrived at Masaki's estate. Instead of a stronghold brimming with soldiers, he found a simple residence, nestled in the folds of the forest, quiet as a temple. Masaki greeted him at the entrance with a warm smile, wearing the simple robes of a scholar rather than the armor of a warrior. "Hiroshi," Masaki called out, as if welcoming an old friend rather than a harbinger of death. "It has been too long." Takeda inclined his head. "It has, but I come with grave news." Inside the dimly lit room, they shared tea, as if no time had passed since their younger days. Yet the weight of duty pressed heavily on Takeda's chest. "Masaki," Takeda said at last, "you have defied Lord Kenta. He demands your allegiance, or your head." Masaki set his teacup down gently. "I no longer serve men who spread fear and greed," he said. "This land belongs to the people. Daimyo Kenta would tax them until they starve." Takeda's grip tightened on his sword hilt. "Do not make me your enemy, Masaki." Masaki shook his head, sadness flickering in his eyes. "We were always bound to follow different paths, Hiroshi." A duel under the moon. The two warriors knew the path they were now on could not be reversed. They stepped out into the courtyard, where the moon hung low and bright, casting silver light on the falling leaves. Masaki unsheathed his katana. Takeda followed suit. No words were exchanged. There was only the cold, quiet understanding between two warriors who knew they might soon stain the earth with each other's blood. Their swords flashed beneath the moon, strikes and parries blending into a deadly dance. Takeda attacked with calculated precision, but Masaki moved like the wind, fluid, unpredictable. It was not the reckless Masaki of their youth but a master who fought with conviction, his blade guided by purpose. The fight raged across the courtyard, leaves swirling in their wake. Takeda knew that Masaki was not fighting to win, he was fighting to prove a point. But Takeda's duty demanded victory. In one decisive moment, Takeda found an opening. His sword arced downward, catching Masaki's shoulder. Masaki stumbled, but before Takeda could deliver the final blow, Masaki spoke. "You still fight for a world that no longer exists, Hiroshi." He fell to his knees, gripping his wound. "Is this what honor truly demands? Blind obedience?" Takeda froze, his sword hovering above his friend's bowed head. For the first time in years, doubt crept into his heart. The weight of honor. Takeda stood motionless, the sword heavy in his hand. Masaki's words pierced him deeper than any wound. Had he truly been living by the code of honor, or had he been clinging to duty out of fear? His mind raced. If he killed Masaki, he would return with his honor intact but his heart forever scarred. If he spared him, he would betray his lord and risk everything. In the stillness of the night, Takeda heard the rustling of leaves, the distant call of a nightingale. The world continued, indifferent to the choices of men. Finally, Takeda sheathed his sword. Masaki looked up in surprise. "You would betray your lord?" "No," Takeda whispered, "I will not betray myself." A new path. The next morning, Takeda rode away from Masaki's estate, leaving his friend alive. He knew that he could never return to Lord Kenta's service. His betrayal would be discovered soon enough, and there would be no place for him in the world he once knew. But for the first time in years, Takeda felt free. The weight of blind duty had lifted, and in its place was the quiet peace of a man who had chosen his own path. He rode toward the mountains, where no daimyo's banner flew, where the wind carried the scent of pine and freedom. He would live as a ronin, masterless, unbound, and at peace with his choices. And Sir Hiroshi Takeda disappeared into the mist, his legend carried only by the whispers of those who remembered the samurai who chose honor over duty, and friendship over fear. The end. This story reflects the conflict between personal values and societal expectations, a theme often found in samurai tales. It emphasizes that sometimes true honor lies not in obedience, but in staying true to oneself.